Hey guys, we have a big weekend of energy happening for us this weekend. Jupiter, the planet of expansion that supersizes everything, and Mars, the action planet, the fire planet, are coming into exact alignment in the sky. This is going to be happening early AM hours on Sunday morning. We've been talking about this aspect all week as it's been building. Represents, though, really just some big energy coming through. There's also a special emphasis going on this weekend on Venus as, we close out this last couple of days of our new moon in Taurus cycle that we are in right now and head towards the new moon in Gemini, actually, that's coming on May 30th on Monday. But this weekend, we do have some stronger Taurus themes still present as well, and Venus is actually changing signs, moving into the sign of Taurus, bringing us another energetic shift underway this weekend as well. So big emphasis, you guys, this weekend on the Mars Aries vibes. Also, some secondary emphasis going on these Venus Taurus vibes as we close out this cycle. Let's get into the report and see how all of this is coming together for us this weekend. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today is Friday, May 27th, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook for the weekend. In this report, I'm going to be talking about the energy for Friday, for Saturday, and for Sunday. And of course, that is also all encompassed by this big Jupiter-Mars conjunction that we have going on this weekend. But that's what we're talking about. That is what the nature of the discussion is in this little monologue, I guess, that I'm going to be giving today. So let's start with Friday, you guys. And, then obviously after Friday, we'll do Saturday and we'll do Sunday. So starting with Friday. Okay, so on Friday, now this Mars-Jupiter conjunction, which is really the big business of the weekend, is not coming exact until early hours, like I said in my intro, early hours on Sunday morning. And so this energy is still building on Friday. And Friday, we have some other things to talk about as well, with this sort of really just standing right beside it, okay? But anyways, on Friday, we actually have a day that is more Venus-oriented, despite the buildup of this massive transit that we also have going on. But we have an exact Venus-Pluto square that is playing out on Friday. And this is happening in the signs of Aries, where Venus is, the very end of Aries, 29 degrees of Aries actually is where Venus is on Friday, squaring Pluto retrograde at 29 degrees of Capricorn. So a lot of things are pointing to Venus today. We have this primary aspect going on, this exact aspect with Venus involved, and also the moon is moving out of Aries and into Taurus on Friday as well, which is ruled by Venus, which is again pointing to Venus and what's going on with her in the square to Pluto. And of course, we are still for this next couple days in the Taurus cycle as well, which is ruled by Venus, putting special emphasis on Venus as well. So by moon placement in Taurus, all eyes on Venus. By lunar month placement in Taurus right now, new moon in Taurus cycle that we're in, all eyes on Venus, and Venus today in the exact square to Pluto. And, the moon in Taurus, this is also activating the North Node and Uranus as well. So there is a little bit of this perhaps unexpected realignments that are happening in some type of divine timing or divine order, maybe playing out alongside of this today. But because of the emphasis of Venus on Friday, this to me is bringing up lots of relationship themes. These are also coming through in the symbolism. There's a lot of symbolism on Friday that is also referencing relationships, specifically romantic relationships, but also with all these Taurus vibes right now as well. This could be, work relationships, work partnerships, financial agreements, financial commitments with others, the projects that we're engaged in, just the things that we're working towards, the things that we're building right now, and the relationships and the interpersonal dynamics with people in those regards generally. But partnerships, relationships, finances with Venus in the limelight today could definitely be some of the things that are sort of coming to a head in this energy. Now, we're talking about Venus in a square to Pluto. This energy, when we're talking about Venus and square to Pluto, a lot of times on the surface, it can present more toxic, negative relationship dynamics, but it's ultimately for the purpose of helping us to gain an awareness of any sense of lack that we are operating with internally that is causing us to seek to surrender our power to things externally in order to receive some type of validation or some type of fulfillment that we feel we are lacking in and of ourselves initially anyways. A lot of times, like I said, like toxic relationships and stuff like that can come about or can have a tendency to manifest when there is a Venus square Pluto aspect or a harsh aspect with Venus and Pluto present together. This dynamic always sort of reminds me of like the Persephone myth as well. And just Venus, like the goddess of love and peace and beauty and pleasure and, just all the material comforts and luxuries and stuff like that coming into the square, the harsh aspect, the 90-degree aspect, conflict, tension building with Pluto, the lord of the underworld, all about like power in all of its forms, but also, purge and purification and rebirth, the Phoenix rising energy ultimately. And, when we have a Venus square Pluto playing out, a lot of times this sort of brings us through our own like Persephone journey, sort of like takes us down into the underworld and can make us feel like bound to forces that are sort of feeding off of our goodness in one way or another. But ultimately, it's for the purpose of showing us the lack that we hold inside of us and helping us to really take back our power and to recognize the truth of the value within us and to gain a better relationship to our own selves so that we can come to this more self-empowered place where we're no longer allowing or willing to surrender and to give our love away to situations, circumstances, dynamics that are not returning that properly, or that are just like kind of stealing the beauty and the love and the innocence and like manipulating it or warping it in some type of way, and just not a fair balance of energy going on. So I feel like, when we have a Pluto squaring Venus, ultimately it can present some more difficult relationship dynamics, but it's for the purpose of helping us to actually come to a place of a greater sense of self-empowerment and a stronger relationship to our own self, so that we are no longer able to be taken advantage of in relationship dynamics as much anymore. And with this aspect playing out today, and also all of these Taurus themes and everything that we have been going through lately, if you've been following my work, I've been talking about how I feel like in the chart right now, especially with this big emphasis going on Aries and Taurus, and coming out of this Jupiter, Neptune, Venus conjunction that we had, and last year as well, we had a whole Venus Pluto saga going on, and we had Mars and Venus and Pluto come to the exact same degree at the same time for like a triple conjunction this past March. And that was like really significant in this whole process that we've been going through of restoring the truth of the value that we hold inside, and the recognition of this and the sense of self-empowerment that gives us as we are in this very crucial time right now, transitioning ages, moving into the age of Aquarius, which is an age of self-knowledge, self-empowerment, self-mastery. And these transits that have been going on have been trying to bring us back to that place through gaining a better sense of our own authentic personal truth and recognizing the truth of the value, the resources, the potential that we hold inside to really be able to cultivate, nourish, and activate those to rise into our destiny and no longer, perceive ourselves internally as coming from this place of lack, and no longer be willing to surrender our power and having the faith and the trust and the belief in ourselves to like tap these resources and to sort of become like the commander of our own ship and come to this place of self-mastery and ultimately co-creation with God and universe as we are in this 222 year and transitioning ages right now into the age of Aquarius, which is a paradigm that is representative of those exact concepts. And that is this transformation and shift energetically, vibrationally that humanity is going on right now. But anyways, bringing it back to where we're at today, the energy right now generally is trying to help us gain a better understanding, to rediscover the truth of the value that we hold inside so that we can come back into our personal power and begin to launch off on a new path in alignment with pursuing and having the freedom to express and embody our genuine, authentic personal truth with, Jupiter and Mars in a conjunction in the sign of Aries, building into that this weekend. And all of this, again, Taurus, Aries energy. Aries is the sign of the self. Taurus is the sign of resources and potential and the ability to cultivate them and to make something with them. So we are Mercury's retrograde right now in the sign of Taurus. Like, we are rediscovering the truth of the value that we hold inside and the power that gives us and like the strength and the courage and the inspiration and the motivation to move forward in a new direction, to take some action, to really make these things happen for ourselves with all of this energy in Aries and Taurus right now. But back to this Venus square Pluto aspect, you guys. I feel like in the context of things like this, of the context of this aspect today, there may be some things coming to a head in terms of relationship dynamics, especially if they have been more like on the more toxic side of things, or again, in terms of these financial arrangements, financial agreements, work partnerships and stuff like that as well. These interpersonal dynamics, if there has been anywhere that there have been abuses of power going on, or things haven't been essentially fair, or one person has been manipulating or deceiving or taking advantage of another person for the purpose of like their own personal gain in one way or another, or generally just this like coercive or manipulative or deceptive or, abuse of power within these interpersonal dynamics, these relationship dynamics, these financial dynamics. They may be coming to somewhat of a head today and, this weekend, and it makes sense as well, moving towards this big Aries, Mars, Jupiter conjunction this weekend that is really like having us standing in our power and fighting for our personal truth and wanting to do what is morally right, like for ourselves in the situation in one way or another. So today, Friday, moving into this energy, it's like things may be, again, like coming to a head. And this may also be based on some type of discovery that we're figuring out, something that we are seeing under the surface of things, something that is like breaking through to us, like a breakthrough or an epiphany or something that we're having in one way or another. Remember, we've also all week still had Mercury in a trine to Pluto as well, which is uncovering secrets. And, these can be secrets about things that have been going on within our relationships and work dynamics and interpersonal connections and stuff like that, with Mercury having been in Taurus. But it also has to do with like these personal discoveries that we may be making about our own selves and, the way our psyche's working and our own subconscious programming, and maybe where we have been, sabotaging our own progress in one way or another, or allowing ourselves to be manipulated or deceived in one way or another. But any way you slice it right now, especially with Jupiter and Mars coming into this conjunction in the sign of Aries, Mars is a sign of rulership. Venus is about to move into her sign of rulership as well this weekend. Tomorrow, Venus is going to be moving into Taurus, the sign that she rules. So we have Mars in Aries, Venus in Taurus. Like in the context of all of this other energy, it is pushing us to make some discoveries, either about ourselves, either about our connection to spirit and to God and to the divine, and like the confidence and the faith and the belief and the trust that gives us in ourselves moving forward in some type of way, or in regards to things that have been playing out for us in our lives and really gaining a different perception or seeing things through a different light, or the light bulb coming on in some type of way, really making some discovery or some revelation that changes things for us and transforms, really the way that we are perceiving ourselves, perceiving our reality, and as a result, what we are wanting and desiring in the context of relationships, of like work dynamics, of these interpersonal connections and stuff like that moving forward. So on Friday, you guys, I really feel like, it's very much about maybe bringing things in one way or another to a head, to a point, especially things that have, again, like just not been good for us in one way or another, or stealing our power in one way or another, or keeping us in a state where we are unable to see the truth of our own worth, or the truth of our own value, or the truth of our own potential in one way or another, or have just been, keeping us from being able to come into a proper relationship with ourselves and be liberated to align with our authentic truth in a way that feels like good and right and authentic for us, and liberating at this point in time, because again, we're transitioning into the age of Aquarius, and ultimately everything that is happening is to sort of like turn our powers back on, if you know what I mean. Like get us back on track with with our true potential, with the gifts and the talent and the resources that we came into this experience with, and the mission that we essentially came here to fulfill. When we get off track and when we are living a life that is disassociated from who we really are based on the cultural or the familial or just the societal expectations and ideals of others, it has a tendency to diminish our potential to prohibit us from seeing, our powers, like I said. And I feel like, especially entering this age of Aquarius right now, where over this next 2,000 years, I really do feel like the human collective is going to experience sort of like a reignition of maybe some of the latent powers that have been, that we have not had access to for a long period of time. Like that's a whole nother discussion. But anyways, I feel because we're all being called back into the truth of our potential, and it's reactivating certain parts of our brain and our psyche and stuff like that. And so it's really important right now, you guys, that we are getting in alignment with our authentic truth. And this aspect, this energy, I feel like is helping to break us free from these situations, again, that have been preventing us from seeing the truth of our power and being able to vibrationally and energetically realign ourselves in a way that allows that to sort of like come online and help us to really start making something of it, tapping it, moving in this new direction. We have to remember right now, we are still in an eclipse window, you guys, and with the moon moving into Taurus, and eclipses are periods, where big changes can happen. And with the moon moving into Taurus right now, it is again activating Uranus, the great awakener, the great rectifier, and also that North Node energy. And we are in the last couple days right now of this Taurus cycle, which, being in the eclipse cycle has been bringing about some very fated realignments with things. The moon moving into a conjunction with Uranus. This also has a tendency to really shake some things up in the air, to bring in some necessary realignments to help us in that process of aligning with that authentic truth. And because we also simultaneously right now have Mars and Jupiter in a conjunction in Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, which is also a cardinal sign, which is about taking action. Like, this is a period of time when some really big changes might be being activated. Like, big things might be happening now. Big changes, big realignments, just coming through, spontaneously happening. But because of the fated nature of all of this, and because of the great fixer, Uranus's profound involvement in all of this, and simultaneously, Uranus, this is the planet that rules our transition into the age of Aquarius, rules Aquarius, and these frequencies, these vibrations that we are aligning with energetically at this point in time now, and why, things are really crazy and we're going through all these shifts, ultimately is so that we can come in alignment with these more Uranian vibrations and frequencies heading into this age of Aquarius, right? So, with all of this playing out this weekend, it is just very possible that there could be some really big, sudden, unexpected, surprising changes happening. We do, you guys, want to have exercise caution this weekend, especially in regards to the physicality of ourselves. When we have Jupiter and Mars coming into a conjunction, especially in the sign of Aries, which is ruled by Mars, and this very heated, fiery sign ruling the physical body. We don't want to be taking risks and stuff like that with our physicality in this energy. Now, this is, and I will talk more about this as I get into Saturday and Sunday when the energy is coming together, but this is a very lucky transit actually, but we do want to be cautious with our physical body. This is not the time to go bungee jumping or skydiving or stuff like that. We don't want to take unnecessary foolish risks with our just physical body generally in this particular energy. But other than that, you guys, in terms of Friday, relationships, like I said, definitely the highlight, these big changes perhaps underway, things could definitely be coming to a head. I also wanted to read a couple of the Sabian symbols for Friday because, again, they are just playing on these themes. Romantic relationships might really be a major highlight going on in the energy on Friday. We have, first of all, we have the Earth, what's going on the ground on Friday at 7 degrees of Sagittarius. That Sabian symbol is Cupid knocking at the door of a human heart. We also have Mercury, 28 degrees of Taurus on Friday, a woman pursued by mature romance, okay? And we also have Jupiter, and this is actually the degree where this conjunction between Mars and Jupiter is going to occur, at 4 degrees of Aries. That Sabian symbol is two lovers are strolling through a secluded park. And this is a lot of romance symbolism going on to have a moon in Taurus ruled by Venus in an exact square to Pluto. So honestly, I feel like this is sort of giving us some foresight or an indication of what's to come. Yeah, there may be some serious relationship breakdowns going on right now, but it's because we are maturing in terms of what we want, what we expect, and what we are willing to accept for ourselves in the context of this romance, based on the self-empowerment that we're coming to, in this recognition of the truth of the value that we're holding inside. Like, we're no longer accepting scraps. We're no longer accepting breadcrumbs. You know, we have a bar that we're setting for ourselves now based on the value that we perceive to hold inside. And, you know, as a result, the energetic mirror that has to come to us and that we must attract by the laws essentially of this paradigm, when we shift vibrationally internally, and when we internally are holding a vibration of abundance and value in terms of who we are and what we have to give and just what we're resonating to and what we're vibrating to, then we are certain to attract that and to have a much more mature and stable experience in the realms of love and romance and stuff like that. And this is Mercury retrograde at this degree 28 Taurus, a woman pursued by mature romance, again in the trine to Pluto, where we've really been uncovering, you know, some deep things, some gaining some understandings, really transforming and changing our mindset about stuff, seeing behind the curtain, you know, secrets revealed, getting to the root of our own issues too. Very self-analytical energy. But this is helping us to refine our own desires, essentially. And I feel like, you know, this is Cupid knocking at the door of a human heart and lovers strolling through a secluded walk. We may be at this point in time like deciding or coming to a greater understanding of what we really desire in love and relationships at this point in time. And maybe that is what is causing this contention or this conflict that may be coming up today as a result of the Venus and the Pluto in, you know, as I've been saying, like standing up for ourselves and putting our foot down and breaking free from addictions. Venus square Pluto can also represent addictions and all the different, you know, means and ways and mechanisms like across the board, because that is the same type of vibration that resonates to toxic relationship dynamics. So breaking addictions as well. As a result of recognizing, you know, what our heart truly wants at this point in time and having the desire to come to a point where we can really begin to attract and experience that. So I find that very interesting that we have all of those images coming up today in terms of the Sabian symbols. And also we have the sun on Friday at 7 degrees of Gemini. That Sabian symbol is a well with a bucket and rope under the shade of majestic trees. So again, this is that emphasis on these deep inner resources. Yesterday, the sun was at workmen drilling for oil. Today, the sun is at a well with a bucket and rope under the shade of majestic trees. Both of these things are talking about deep inner resources, valuable resources, like deep within the earth, under the surface of things, an emphasis on these deep inner resources, wells of life force, power, potential, and value that we are gaining access to now, and that we are like pulling up to the surface, like Venus in square to Pluto, Mercury in trine to Pluto. Like we are like tapping into this value, and we are like raising it, elevating it, bringing it into our realm of reality so that we can actually like utilize it to fill us up and to sustain us and to bring us back to life in some type of a way as we are shifting our frequency and we are transforming and coming to this greater state of self-understanding and self-empowerment and self-mastery, so that we can go on the trajectory and shift paradigms into the age of Aquarius. So again, like I feel like everything is really very divinely orchestrated. We also have Venus, who we've been talking about a lot today, in the exact square to Pluto today, ruler of this energy, ruler of this cycle at 29 degrees of Aries. That Sabian symbol is the music of the spheres, you guys, which is to me like astrology, like the vibrational dance that is going on via the spheres and what they are emanating, and that what we are perceiving and connecting to through our, you know, little vagus nervous system antennas that receive all of this invisible data in the form of frequencies and vibrations from these massive spheres that are playing this grand symphony in the heavens, and that, you know, are helping to orchestrate this blueprint that is unfolding galactically on Earth. So with Venus at that degree today too, the music of the spheres, I feel like things right now are divinely orchestrated, you guys. And again, this is helping us to gain a greater awareness and the sense of self-empowerment and a return of this well of life force energy as a result of seeing the value that we hold inside, bringing it to the surface, bringing it to the forefront, and really beginning to utilize it in moving forward in a new direction in alignment with these authentic truths so that all of our, our powers can come back online, I guess you could say. So that's what I have to say for the energy for Friday. Now let's move on and talk about the energy for Saturday. This is going to be for Saturday, May 28th.